Place your right hand over your heart and repeat after us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Chelsea and Asael. Very well done. Before we continue, I would like to recognize a couple of city council members that we have in the audience. We have Mr. Orlando Osornio. Thank you for being with us, and Mr. Tony Barrera. We'll continue on to opening items. The spotlight. This is an opportunity to feature up to a 3-minute presentation on the positive things that are taking place throughout the district. Mr. Koenig, do you have any spotlight?
Yes, I do, Board President Gilpus Barrera. We've got the Salinas City Council members have a spotlight for this evening.
Thank you. And we have Mr. Anthony Rocha also. I believe Mr. Rocha and Mr. Barrera will be presenting. Or all three council members? Come on up, please. Thank you.
One of our council members, Andrew Sandoval, which is a former school board member of Santa Rita School District, came up with this wonderful idea. I think as we can work together, school districts and the Salinas City Council, working as a team for a strong effort as we serve all the families of the city of Salinas. Just to give you an example, Superintendent Koenig and myself and some of our council members, we're going to be getting together to discuss the airport issues that are impacting our families here in the Alisa. So those are ways of how we can put out the olive branch and unify each other and do the best thing we can for our families. So I'm going to ask one of my colleagues to go ahead and read this wonderful certificate on behalf of the Salinas City Council and our mayor to the board. Thank you.
Thank you, trustees, for the opportunity to present before you today. My name is Anthony Rocha. I know many of you I consider personal friends. Many of you I had the opportunity to work with when I was a school board member. I served on the school board for the Salinas Union High School District 2018-2020, and I was able to serve with you all in the Equity Learning Network cohort that we were together. So I appreciated our time. We on the City Council recognize the critical importance of collaborating with our school districts, understanding that our educational institutions serve as an incubator for innovation and as a laboratory for democracy. And you all have the critical task before you of making sure that our students are having the education they need and deserve to be able to grow up and be the leaders of not only today, but of tomorrow and serve this great community. I'm a product of the Alisa Union School District. I went to John E. Sembeck Elementary School, and so it's a real privilege to be here before you all today. Before I read the proclamation, I want to hand over the microphone to Councilmember Orlando Osornio.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. One of the things that I learned very quickly on council is that partnerships and collaboration make our jobs that much easier, especially when we're serving the same residents here in the city of Salinas. So I just really appreciate the effort and the time and the devotion that you guys put into to being able to be trustee members. And for that, we just like to say thank you. And I look forward with my colleagues to being able to partner on things that come before us in the future. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So the Salinas City Council recognizes January 2023 as National School Board Recognition Month. Whereas an excellent public education system is vital to the quality of life for all City of Salinas residents and communities, and whereas school board members continue to advocate to best serve the children in our community each and every day, and whereas school board members are committed to children and believe that all children can be successful learners, that the best education is tailored to the individual needs of the child, and whereas school board members work closely with parents, educational professionals, and other community members to create the healthiest environments possible where all students can thrive, and whereas school board members are strong advocates for public education and are responsible for communicating the needs of the school district And whereas the mission of public schools is to meet the diverse educational needs of all children and to empower them to become competent, productive contributors to a democratic society and to an ever-changing world that is more poignant now than ever. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Kimberly Craig, on behalf of the Salinas City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2023 as National School Board Month and recognize dedication, hard work, of local school board members.
Thank you, council members, for taking the time. Well, I don't know if anybody knows what a Kodak moment is. Maybe those don't exist anymore because we all have our cell phones, but can we all take a picture together? Would that be appropriate, Superintendent? Thank you. We have a board member that wants to briefly say something.
Yeah, I want to thank Council Mr. Barrera, Mr. Rocha, and Mr. Sornia for tonight's recognition from the city, and I want to invite them to keep in mind that they have the best platform to address our community throughout the district, your Alisal district. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Okay, so we're still on opening items. We're gonna go on to, are there any other spotlights?
No, there are no more. Oh, yes, there is.
Okay.
There's one more spotlight.
Okay,
We have the award of the local.
Good afternoon, Board President, members of the Board of Trustees. Mr. Koenig, I am very excited today, very nervous, because I am presenting today the grantee, the award winners. I don't know if they earned the Local Solutions Grant. This is a grant that is given by the Commission on Teaching Credentialing for educators who are pursuing a credential in special education. They can be classified or already certificated personnel, and they can earn up to $15,000 for tuition reimbursement. And so right now we have here several of them who have been able to get these, and I'm very excited to introduce to you. And there's going to be another product moment. Is Miss Jasmine Root here? Yes. If you could just. I know Mr. Miguel Zazueta Ruiz is here. And I know I've seen Miss Elida Gonzalez. Mr. Jesus Gordoy. Mr. Jose Escobedo. And Mr. Luis Acosta. And together they are receiving $86,260. And if I could get a picture with our trustees, maybe move here so I can have a picture with all of you.
Last of the
Thank you. And I think was Miss Claudia the grant writer? So I think we need to recognize also briefly Miss Claudia Melendez because she was the one that wrote the grant for that. So thank you. Any more spotlights?
No, there are no more
Okay.
spotlights.
Okay, so we'll continue on now to adoption of the agenda, and this is an action item, so I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Mercado
Second,
and Mr. Jimenez. So I think if you speak up instead of the hand, I won't be able to see the hand maybe because it was Miss Leticia also, but speaking up is also, I'll get you next time. So now is there any discussion, questions? Okay, I'm gonna call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? No, motion carries 5-0. Moving on to item number 2A, school site presentations. We have Principal Genaro Anaya and his assistant principal. Can you state your name, please? Luis Magdaleno, okay, from Jesse G. Sanchez Elementary School. Thank you.
Good evening, President Gilpas, board members, superintendent, cabinet members, and community. My name is Genaro Anaya, and I'm the proud principal of Jesse G. Sanchez Elementary. This is actually my first year working at Sanchez. I feel blessed to be part of this great team. Jesse G. Sanchez Elementary School is named after late Jesse G. Sanchez, a local community leader, attorney, and Alisal Union School District board member whose life was cut short by cancer. He served 12 years as a board member for us for the Alisal Union School District. The rededication ceremony took place in 2009. We are having an assembly in recognition of Jesse G. Sanchez's birthday this Friday at 1:30 p.m. You are all invited to attend. His family
Invitado a
members
sentar.
will be here as well joining us.
Bien, podemos escuchar a ellos si están contentos.
It
en
is an
ella.
honor to have the
Y es un honor
opportunity
tener la
each year to
oportunidad de estar
inform you of
acá
the
para
great work
informarles a
taking
ustedes del
place at
grandioso
Jesse
trabajo
Sanchez.
que
This is
complace
our
Jesse
mission
Sánchez.
statement.
Esa es nuestra
We
declaración de
at
misión.
Sanchez believe in
Nosotros en
providing
Sánchez creemos en poder
world-class
proveer
education by
una educación de,
fostering relationships, having a growth
construir
mindset,
relaciones
and
y tener
promoting
una forma
equity
y
in order to
promover la
experience
equidad para
success
poder
in the
esperar
classroom,
éxito.
community, and life. To accomplish this goal, we have been
Bien,
working on 4
Leonardo,
focus
como es-
areas: academic achievement, behavior supports, ACES and extended learning, and
de
parent
aprendizaje extendido.
So we are a
Y
preschool
ahora somos un
through
preescolar
sixth grade.
a través de nuestro sexto grado.
We have a total of
Tenemos un total de
I'm sorry, we're having. some
6. Estamos teniendo dificultades técnicas.
No, no. There's- We're good?
¿Estamos bien? No.
I think we're.
Testing. Should it be okay now, Mr. Clemente? Okay, thank you.
No, we're good?
Continue. We
Okay.
apologize for
No
the.
worries. Yeah, no worries. So we are a preschool through sixth grade school. We have a total of 687 students. We offer English language classes, SEI, bilingual transfer, and one way. We also have 2 SDC classes. So as you can see, 70% of our students are English learners, 99.4% of students are Hispanic, and 99% are socioeconomically disadvantaged. Academic achievement, okay. So the Sanchez teachers have received ongoing training on the Right Up to Storm program for the past 4 years. Teachers use the STORM strategies to teach close reading and to address the standards in reading, vocabulary, and writing. They have received training in Lexia English, Lexia Core 5, Lexia Power Up, and some of the teachers, including myself, will be attending the GLAD training in March. So during the grade level team meetings, each grade level team uses a scheduled day to dig deeper on how to improve positive student outcomes. They engage in data analysis, focus on the essential standards and the 4 PLC questions. What do we want students to learn? How will we know if they have learned? And what will we do if they don't learn it? And what will we do if they already know it? Our instructional coach and ELD coach support the teachers during the GLT meetings. We also have instructional leadership team meetings at the site every month, and 7 of the members attend the West Side School Leadership Team Network Series. And the instructional leadership team is the guiding coalition, okay, to ensure students are successful. Okay, to mitigate the learning loss, so we have 4 intervention teachers. The focus this year has been foundational reading skills, phonics, phonemic awareness, vocabulary, reading comprehension, and fluency. The intervention teachers provides small group support daily. We also have an AmeriCorps, a tutor, and student teachers that provide small group support and assist our teachers. All grades are currently receiving intervention support this academic school year. The next 2 slides show our STAR reading and STAR math assessment scores, comparing the baseline to the first trimester assessment. I also included the results for the STAR reading in Spanish, since we have bilingual classes at our school. As you can see, our students are making progress, which is great, but we have a lot of work to do. Students are going to be taking the second trimester assessments next week as well. So we'll have those results soon. This is the STAR reading in Spanish assessments and the DRA assessments as well. Okay, so these are the SBAC results from last academic school year. Okay, so for ELA, 23% of our students scored met or exceeded. For math, 11% scored met or exceeded. In regards to the LPAC, 8% of our students scored at level 4. So our goal this year is to increase those percentages by 7% as stated on the SIPSA. Okay, furthermore, our school's goal is to reclassify 25% of our students, of our English learners this academic school year. Okay, during the teacher goal setting meetings, we analyzed the data by class and identified 130 potential students that were close to meeting the requirements. So our goal, school goal, is reclassifying 25% of our students this academic school year. our school has the opportunity to host two SDC communication and social skills moderate severe classes at a kinder class and a first, second grade combo. Okay. These classes are designed for students with autism who also have significant social communication skill deficits, emotional regulation issues, and developmental delays. Okay, the primary goal of these classes is to prepare students for them to function effectively in current and future homeschool community and work environments. Behavioral supports, okay, so our school has been implementing PBIS for a number of years now. Okay, so at Sanchez, everyone works as a team to make sure that our school is a safe place where respect and responsibility are always present. Students are recognized for showing these good behaviors at any time, anywhere, and are rewarded with the Hawk Box. We call them the Hawk Box. Okay, and once they earn 100, okay, a Hawk Box, they receive a membership, and having a membership gives students access to the monthly PBIS events, as well as credit to purchase items, okay, from the PBIS store. At the end of the year, okay, so one student for every class who has earned the most memberships will get to participate in the end of the year event. Okay, so this school year, we're bringing the game truck. Not sure if you guys are familiar with the game truck. Very fun. Okay, for our students are aware and are very excited. Okay. So students can receive individual and small group support from our counselor. Okay, Mr. Cacique facilitates classroom presentations on topics such as bullying, problem solving, okay, growth mindset, and much more. We also have a Sticks and Stones counselor that is providing individual and group support. Okay, and if needed, we can refer students to Monterey County Behavioral Health Supports to the class meetings. Mr. Magdaleno is our assistant principal. This is his first year as well working at Sanchez. His first year working as assistant principal, and he's really enjoying the job. He's doing an amazing job with his duties, such as overseeing the enrichment programs and so on. Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here. I will be presenting. We have the ACES program, which is open to all students. We provide adequate time for homework, a healthy supper, and quality enrichment that includes drumline, guitar lessons, and physical education. We also provide STEAM or STEM activities. In addition, we have 2 math academy classes, one first through second grade and one third through 6th grade. Our students are participating also in a folklorico dance, which is an exciting and fun way to learn about Hispanic heritage. Also, 3rd through 6th grade graders have the opportunity to be part of sports, which include flag football, basketball, soccer, and volleyball. Also, in collaboration with Hartnell K-12 programs, we offer classes such as NASA, robotics, and Intro to Coder Dojo. These are innovative projects designed to increase the participation and interest in STEAM careers. Here, students learn through fun and exciting hands-on activities over 8-week terms. These programs happen in different times throughout the year on Saturday. Okay, parent involvement. To involve parents and families in student learning and support programs and establish a welcoming environment for family participation, we offer coffee clutch meetings and school site council meetings every month. Our Student of the Month assembly take place in person, and parents are invited to attend. This past fall, 4th and 6th grade teachers organized a dance that where parents participated, as well as students, and both parents and students had a lot of fun at the event. The next parent event will be the Spring Festival. So we have an active parent-teacher club. The PTC board meets every month to plan fundraising activities such as the Fall Festival, Spring Festival, El Día de los Muertos, and El Día del Niño. Please help us recognize all certificated and classified staff, okay, for their great work this academic school year. Okay, we wanted to leave you, okay, with a video of one of our second grade classes singing the Sanchez song during the morning assemblies. We have morning assemblies on Mondays every week. Okay, let me see if I can play the video. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Is there any questions for us?
Does anybody, do any of the trustees, Mr. Ocampo?
Yeah, first I didn't realize there was a Sanchez song. That's cool. Yeah, I knew Jesse when he was alive. In fact, we both graduated from Alsa High School the same year and from UC Santa Cruz the same year. So he's a great guy. Really was a questions. Sorry I didn't bring my other glasses. So I'm a little visual. Well, I'm always visually handicapped anyway. Today a little more than usual. I was curious about your one-way immersions program and your bilingual transfer program. Could you give just a brief description of what those involve, how those work?
Yeah, so we're actually fading the BTs, the program, the bilingual transfers. They're eventually going to become one way, but I mean, just to give you an example, like for example, the one way they start with English, with the instruction of English with 20%, and then by sixth grade, English, they're teaching English 60%, of the instruction is in English, and so on. So it changes from every year. Okay?
Oh, so every year the percentage of English kind of increases.
That is correct. That is
Yeah.
correct. And it's the same for the bilingual transfer, but eventually,
Right.
the district, we're gonna be one way, right, Mrs. Council? So one way.
So eventually all bilingual will be one way immersions.
That is correct.
Immersions
That
program.
is correct.
Okay. I get, you always hear about how great total immersions is, I'm wondering, how does one-way immersions, in your opinion, compare with total immersions? Is it same, that just as effective, or what do you think?
For which programs?
Well, you have the one-way immersions program, but I've always heard that total immersions program is always high quality. Where you have Spanish speakers and English speakers.
Oh, the
and
The
you're-
dual
and-
program? Is referring to the program.
Yeah, a problem we run
Yeah.
into at Jesse Sanchez is there are not enough English learners, native English learners
Yeah.
to support a two-way.
So,
bilingual
but
program.
I'm sorry, I guess the wording is two-way immersions, I guess,
Yeah.
not total, two-way immersions. So my question is, in your opinion, how does the one-way immersions compare to total immersions? Is one better than the other in your opinion?
Can I answer the question?
Sure.
Okay, so is there a difference? Each program has a different goal. For example, in the one way, and it's the criteria of the students are either monolingual Spanish speakers or bilingual. In the DI placement or the two-way, you have three different types of students. Students that are English only, students that are bilingual, and students that are monolingual in Spanish. That 1/3 that are English only are learning how to speak Spanish. So their instruction is all in Spanish. So that's the difference. It has a different purpose. The program has a different purpose. Your bilingual and monolingual students are still learning in Spanish, but because they have those English models, when it comes time for English, and they have English models in the classroom. And the difference is in your one way, it's only the Spanish speaking students or the bilingual students that's speaking both English and Spanish. The minutes are the same. It's just the makeup of the classes.
Yeah, I understand that the reason we usually don't go to the total immersions or through immersions is because we don't have enough English, solely English speaking students. So we don't have the numbers there. Okay, thank you.
And I have actually both of my children on the one-way program as well here with our district, and they both know how to speak, read, and write both languages. I'm really happy with the one-way program.
Okay. So you feel in the absence of the total or three-way, in the absence of that program, that the one-way is very effective in your opinion? Okay.
As a parent, I'm very
Thank you very much, Mr. Anaya and Mr. Magdaleno. Good things happening at your school. So we look forward to seeing you on Friday for the Jesse Sanchez Assembly. Okay, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
thank you,
Oh,
everyone.
Mr. Jimenez.
Mr. Anaya, Mr. Magdaleno, thank you for your presentation. But here in the parents' involvement, I don't see the school site council team. Do you have?
Yes, we do. That is correct. And it's on the website as well, that information, but we do have a school site council team.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, we have 5 parents and 5 staff members that attend.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you.
Okay, under item 2 presentations, we have a next presentation, B, a department presentation with the Director of Pupil Personnel Services, Ms. Diana Garcia.
Good afternoon, President Gilpas, Board of Trustee, Cabinet members, Mr. Koenig, and members of our audience. I'm Diana Garcia, and I'm the Director of Pupil Personnel Services, and I'm very pleased to be here to present our Pupil Personnel Services Department. Okay, let's see. So Pupil Personnel Services encompasses different areas, but our big focus, our big umbrella is MTSS. And under MTSS, we have social emotional learning, behavior, we have the safety, health, counseling services, social worker services, parent education, chronic absenteeism, suspensions, and expulsions. Within the health and safety, we have a support staff. We have our coordinator of health and safety. We have district social workers. We have a district registered nurse. And we worked on a yearly basis, we do the Great Shakeout Drill, which takes place in October. We also have COVID safety updates and protocols that we follow. We have a seizures protocol that the registered nurse has shared with the classified staff and other staff members as well. We have the active killer shooter module trainings, and so far we've completed 1 and 2. We're in the process of beginning module 3. We have a suicide prevention protocol that was developed by the district social workers, along with a suicide risk assessment protocol. Health services. So under PPS, we also have health services. We have our district nurse, which is Sarah Martinez. We have 4 LVNs, which are Angelina Palmerin, Crystal Carrion, Maria Sanchez, and Denise Gutierrez. And their duties are basically doing the vision and hearing screening. And some of the things that they've also done is present to the classified staff on seizures and the seizure protocol. They also do daily care to students with or without medical needs district-wide. They also provide staff training. Principals, they're also welcome to reach out to Sarah Martinez to, inquire about professional development around medical emergencies such as head injuries or fainting. And so far, we have a total of 71 students that have healthcare plans. And that is both general ed and special education students. And the vision screening, when we talk about vision and hearing, they happen on a yearly basis, but they also happen, there's a yearly basis and there's a time frame when they happen. Like right now, I know that Sarah Martinez just finished vision screening, K-2 and 5th grade, but it also depends on depending on the need based on a 504 plan or an IEP or an SST. Like if there's a request, then she goes out there and does that vision screening and hearing. So this is our mental health, well, not our, but this is the mental and behavioral health tier system. So as you can see, this is a pyramid. There's a tier 1, which is basically an 80 to 90%, and it's the universal support for all students, where school counselors go into the classrooms and provide classroom presentations. They're also part of the PBIS committees to make sure that PBIS is being implemented school-wide. We have tier 2, which is a targeted support for students who are at risk. And this is more of a small group. There's also individualized counseling. But when we talk about group services, small group services, we're talking about social skills or any student that is dealing with anxiety, self-esteem issues, or just like, so just socializing and making friends. We also have a check-in, check-out system through our PBIS that the counselors follow. Then we have our tier 3, which is the individualized supports. And these are the most intensive individual supports. So we have here in our district, we have different partners. And I forgot to mention, so for tier 2, we have Sticks and Stones from Harmony at Home, and they come in and provide tier 2 supports. And when they come and provide tier 2 supports, it's based on, depending on the need. Sticks and Stones focuses on grief, and they also focus on separation and divorce. And so it just depends if the student meets that criteria so that we can refer them to tier 2 services through Sticks and Stones. But with the tier 3, those are the most individual supports. So it's a lot of family therapy and a lot of family check-ins. And we offer wraparound services through MCBH. So this is our model here in the Alice L. Union School District. So we have our tier 1, and you have the 3 tiers. So the 3 tiers, basically, all our school counselors are qualified to provide all these tiers. So all this support. However, it just depends on the need of the student again. So for tier 1, you can see just exactly what I mentioned, classroom presentations. We have restorative justice in 3 of our schools, which are VRB, Montebella, Creekside. We have PBIS school-wide events. We have staff trainings, coffee patches for parents to get them involved. We have parent workshops such as Cara y Corazon. We also have Simon Silva that is here, and we partnered up with Partners for Peace, and they provide Loving Solutions, which is a series that support families. And then we have a district-wide monthly parent education letter that also offers resources for our parents, our families. Our tier 2, we have group counseling that's also provided by the school counselors and by Sticks and Stones. Classroom press observations where, the counselor goes in and makes his or her observations on the student that was referred. We have a parent group support. So from there, if we notice that through Cara y Corazon or Loving Solutions or any of our other support groups, we notice that there's a parent that might need that additional support, then the counselor or Sticks and Stones talk to the district social workers to touch bases with that family. Data-driven intervention. So we look at attendance. We also look at the check-in, check-out. We have parenting partners, which is no longer, we're not connected with them anymore. So that is one thing that we have to eliminate from there because we have our own parent support groups now. Teacher consultation, collaboration, and monthly, not monthly, but their bi-monthly coordination of services team, which is the COS team. And then for our tier 3, we have external partners that we work with. One is ESS, which they come in and they provide, let me go back. ESS, Effective School Solutions, which they provide us with a full-time clinician. We currently have them at 6 schools. And those clinicians come in and provide tier 3 services. So it's a lot of individual group therapy. And then we also have our, they do family therapy. So they check in with the families once a week. That's what they do. But they provide 1 to 2 days of therapy for those students, but they do daily check-ins with them. We also have the district social workers that provide tier 3 services. And again, they provide similar services as ESS. But they also provide but they also provide parent consultation. They also provide the parent support groups through Cara y Corazon. They also work closely with the school counselors in providing professional development for them and together they brainstorm on things that they have to work on to enhance the mental health program that we have in LSL. They also, what else do they do? They've also helped us develop several protocols here at the district. Then we have MCBH, which is the most intense. So these students are receiving clinical intensive services through MCBH. And through MCBH, they get wraparound services. So they have easy access to community resources that we as a district could refer to, but of course, we would probably be on a waiting list versus them receiving MCBH services and having access to them immediately because they're county services. So our referral process has to go through a coordination of team services, and we call it the COST. It's something that was once upon a time started here in our district. So a little bit about it is, it's a COST team. It evaluates the process and data to improve service delivery, provides technical assistance to teams, and conducts ongoing meetings. The team will determine the best services provider for the student and family. So we have them bi-monthly, these COST meetings. And who's part of the COST team? We have the school counselor, the assistant principal, the school psychologist. We have the, I have a typo there. We have the AFRC, but it's not the AFRC only because we have 2 additional family resource centers. We have the Sticks and Stones. We have MCBH. We also have the Effective School Solutions clinician, and we have the bully prevention coach that assists or that attends based on, the need of the referrals. And as needed, we have the RSP or speech. They get invited if they're needed to be there. If they're not needed to be there, then we don't ask for them to be there. So this is our cost referral data. And as you can see, there's a lot of data because we have a lot of reasons for referral, but these are the top 8 reasons of referral. As you can see, we have the academic concerns because anything that is academics, behavior, or social emotional gets referred through COST. Right now, as of today, we had 673 referrals come in. So academic concerns, those usually are, those are sent out routed out to the student study team. So the counselors give those referrals to the assistant principal unless there's an emotional concern as well attached to the referral. And you can see there's 15% of those referrals for academic concerns only. Then we have the anger management, which is at 13%. We have students that are referred because of trauma, 14.5%. Students that are referred for anxiety, 13.3%. Self-injury behaviors, 11.5%. Social skills, 9.75%. Free, 14.55%. And bullying, 8.40%. So those are the percentages. And this is more data. As you can see, we have the risk assessments. Up to today, we had 70 risk assessments performed. COVID cases, you can see the data there. The month of January, we had 105. For the active killer and shooter for module 1 and 2, so far we've had, module 1, we have 815 people that have completed that. Module 2, 540. And for chronic absenteeism, we have 173 students that have 10 or more absences, and they're unexcused. This doesn't include anybody that comes in party. And grants, we have this grant that we're working with through MCBH, and 4 schools have this grant, which is MOK, Sanchez, Creekside, Montebello, and they get the intensive tier 3 clinical services. Highlights. This year, the team has really worked really hard on developing the cost referral process, a suicide prevention and risk assessment protocol. We've also developed a comprehensive pupil personnel services manual, lots of professional development for all the PPS department. We have pupil personnel forums where we invite the Family Resource Center people, MCBH, Harmony at Home, and the social workers and counselors are part of it. We have the AUSD parenting classes. Ms. Weedy has been working on the policy updates. She's also been working closely with the assistant principals on the comprehensive school safety plan. We completed a LSL MTSS behavioral health playbook through Effective School Solutions. And we have strong collaboration with the county for MTSS and PBIS training, and also learning about SWIS and being able to identify trends, behavior trends that we can tackle during counseling services. And this is just some pictures of the work that we've done this school year. Work in progress. We're working on creating school attendance review teams so that we can start tackling the chronic absenteeism rate that we have right now. And we're currently updating our suspension and expulsion process, and we're headed for our module 3 for the active killer shooter. I know that we have several people that have already signed up, and we're really excited about that. Areas of growth, we want to continue enhancing our district social worker program. And we want to, of course, have the best mental and behavioral services here in our district, increase our parent involvement through parent support group series. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you, Mrs. Garcia. A lot of information, but I've never seen anyone so happy to present it.
Yes, I
So
was
thank
very
you.
happy.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna start here on my left to see if there's any comments or questions by board members. Mr. Mercado?
Thank you for the presentation, Mr. Sia. You mentioned that there's restorative justice for BRB, Montebello, and Creekside. Are they using their individual site funds for that program, or is that district?
You know, Mr. Mercado, I'd like to answer that question, but I came in and that program was already in, but I can speak when I had it at Loya, it was based on a grant. So I'm not sure. Once the grant was over, I'm not sure if this grant carried over to these 3 specific schools or if it's something that was picked up by the site.
And what has been your experience at Loya with that program?
It was really great. We had a restorative justice coach that would come in and work with the staff by providing professional development, and also on class meetings, on small group meetings, kind of like counseling services, but at a different level. And then we also had a coach that would come in and do activities in the playground with the kids, and then work closely with the admin on identifying trends that could possibly lead to like a mediators or peer mediators group for students, kind of like student patrol.
Thank you. Mr. Ocampo?
Well, thank you for the presentation, Senora Garcia. Yeah, I just comment, I really like what you're doing with this cost referral data, which should kind of, I guess, help you figure out where you need to put most of your focus. And then I guess you can also collect this data, 1 year through various years and kind of see where it's going. Is there an increase in anger or is there a decrease in trauma? So I think it's cool the way that you're collecting that data. Also like the idea of these coordination team services, trying to figure out what is the best agency, to serve a young person. And then I think you also mentioned that you're going to put together a team that will start looking at absenteeism and kind of track that and see what your percentages are, and maybe how to come up with ways to better deal with that. So that's proactive. So, I think that's appreciated. I'm curious, under more data, what does risk assessment, not quite, it's not clear in my mind what that refers to.
Okay, so for risk assessments, that is when, so if you look at our data what is it? Self-injury behaviors, so kids that have suicide ideation.
Oh.
So whenever that comes to our attention, then we perform, I'm saying we because I'm part of the PPS department, but we come and do a risk assessment. So depending on the risk, if they're high, then they get transferred over to Natividad. Or if they're low, then we meet with the parents and the safety plan is developed.
And when that is risk assessment is made, it's not just one person making it, right?
No.
It's two or more. I think
Usually
that's,
two.
I think that's good because that's a
Yes.
big responsibility.
Mhm.
Like, let's say for a counselor to, even though they're trained, right, to speak to a
Mhm.
young person and try to figure out, is this person really going to, right, commit
Yes.
suicide or not? And it's a big call. I mean, what if you make the wrong call, right, and send them home? Something happens. So I like the idea of two people.
Yes,
That's
so
good.
whenever a counselor encounters one, if the psychologist is available, then the psychologist supports. And if the psychologist is not available because she's performing assessments herself, then district social worker comes in. Usually the district social worker comes in to support.
I remember when I was a counselor at Alsa, I had to do some of those. And I remember sending a number of students home, right? And nothing ever happened, but in the back of my mind, I always thought, wow, what if something does happen? It can be
Yes.
pretty scary. Like,
So that's why we have to be very proactive.
yeah, very excellent. Thank you.
Mr. Jimenez, and then Ms. Garcia.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia, for your presentation, but I have a question. Are all the counselors supposed to provide support and services to students on let's say tier 1, 2, or 3?
Yes, so all school counselors are to provide those tier supports at all levels. So tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And as I mentioned before, the level of tier support that they provide just depends on the need of the student. But if after documenting and monitoring progress, we feel that the student needs a different service provider for tier 3, then as a cost team, they after discussing the situation or the student, then they get either referred to ESS, the district social worker, or MCBH, depending on the case. Mhm. But all of them should be providing all levels.
Thank you.
Ms. Garcia.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia, for that wonderful report. It helps us kind of understand what your department does, right? Because people personnel just seems like such a big thing, and what does people personnel do? You gave us what you do. Thank you for that. I just had one or two questions, but under health and safety, I mean, you added all of those things, but fire drills and evacuation drills, those are left up to the site, or is that part of
The
it?
fire, that is MOTS, but I know
Oh,
that, that
different
is the
department?
MOTS department, but I know that with the Great Shakeout, we support with that one because we could have students that are going through,
Triage?
yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
got it. And how about just, and under the more data you added, well, active shooter training, and these are adults getting trained, right?
For module,
Active shooter?
yes,
killer
these are the
shooter?
adults getting trained.
Uh-huh. And is there any like ETA, whether or not the students are getting the training?
So that right now, since we haven't fully trained all our staff,
So is that the plan, to train the adults first and make sure that they're fully
Mm-hmm.
aware of what to do and then push it out somehow to the students?
yes, but first we have to really know what we're going to be pushing out to the students because we could be sending the, so we want to make sure.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I have the microphone on. You want me to turn off?
Okay, so we have to really ensure that what we're going to present to the kids is really, it's actually something that is ideal for them. So we don't want to make it too cartoonish or unreal. So we have to analyze or see what, what our partner has to offer for us. But we do want to send out that message.
Okay. 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 Thanks.
And I just want to make a I want to correct myself. The fire, because I was a principal, the fire drills and the earthquake drills and all that stuff, that as a principal, it was my duty to ensure that I was holding them on a monthly basis, and we used to turn them in I used to turn them into Mr. Koenig. So I didn't directly turn them into the MOTS department. I used to turn them into Mr. Koenig when he was the assistant superintendent for the business department. So I just wanted to correct myself with that.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. I'm following up with this, Ms. Garcia's statement on the active shooter killer training. I believe I will speak for myself, and I had a conversation with Ms. Trustee Garcia that we are very interested in our students receiving some kind of trauma information or something. And I know that there was a rumor out there that these two board members were not in support of that, and we are. And I saw some of the material, and some of it is cartoonish, but it is really good stuff. So I think it's a decision that the board has to look at and then decide, of course, with the experts letting us know, because we're not nurses or psychologists or anything like that, but together find out if that's the way we want to go. But I think that decision can only be made publicly when the entire board has had an opportunity to see those materials. Because I was approached by someone and they said, we heard that you didn't want this. And I'm saying, it hasn't even come to the board. So, people say things. So just to make that comment, I believe that we are interested in that. And I did see some of it's going to depend on the grade level. So we all need to get together and decide together as a board, as a superintendent, as the experts, what it is that we're going to offer the students. But we are very interested in them. And so hopefully the consultants that we have, I think it's Kimball and Associates, I believe they do have something like that to offer. So I'm sure you'll be looking at that in the
Yes.
future.
Yes,
Thank-
and Ms.
thank you.
Kate Whitty is actually working closely with Mike
Okay.
Kimball, and
Okay, awesome.
there's been discussions about that, but we have to look at the material too.
Okay, thank you. Together, yes, thank you. And also, I was gonna say, I was really surprised too, to see, that referrals for bullying are only like at 8.40. So is that the bully being referred or the victim being referred?
It's usually the victim that is being referred, although the bully is probably being referred for other causes. So remember that, I always think back about what one of the parents said a while back. And I actually heard that same parent say it at BRB at the coffee clutch. The victim usually gets referred to counseling, and the bully doesn't get referred to counseling. They kind of get just referred to the office, right? So there's multiple office discipline referrals, but that student should be referred for otherwise. So I did assure that I don't know every bully at the site, but I'm sure that there is a couple that actually because I go through the referrals. So a lot of them say student is constantly bullying, but there's other triggers or other reasons. For example, there's trauma or domestic violence they have witnessed. So they probably fall under if you see trauma is a heavy one, and grief. So
Okay.
some of our students become bullied because they're just angry or something's going on at home that they bring it to school.
Right, because I thought that was kind of like a small number. And sometimes when you see, on these programs that they put on television and that a student may even commit suicide because of bullying, the first thing they say is the school didn't do anything, but it looks like we're trying to do that, and hopefully that. So what you're saying is if they're not under the 8.40, they might be under some other tier counseling service or
Yeah, or another
referral
yeah.
system. Okay, thank you, Ms. Garcia. And then I just had two more questions. I'm sorry. So there's under the same tier on the pyramid here, the core interventions. It says that there's parent workshops. Can you give me an example of some of the parent workshops that have taken place? And do they take place at school? Are they online? How do those happen?
Okay, so they take place at school. So like right now at Chavez, we have Simon Silva. And we had to clarify it for parents because it is a therapeutic parent support group. We call it parent workshops, but they're series, right? Because they go through, it's a series of 12 sessions. So what they do, it's very healing. They get to know more about themselves. They get to heal on several things, but it's through art. And of course, conversations held there at the workshop. All of you are welcome to visit. Tomorrow they'll be at Chavez. They'll be there from 8:30 to 11:30. Today, if you leave early from here, they end at 8. So it's at Chavez. We also have them at Fremont and Jesse G. Sanchez. We also have Cari Corazon. Cari Corazon started today at Loya from 8:45 to 10:45. They're starting at Barden on Friday, same time. And they're led by either the parent ed specialist and the district social worker or the counselor and district social worker. They partner up. They have to be trained on the curriculum. And it's also another way to heal. Parents get to know each other. They get to use their values that they've learned as a kid and how those values are transferred over to their kids. We also have Loving Solutions, and Loving Solutions is through parent Partners for Peace. And again, Loving Solutions is how to become a better parent, how to better help your student heal emotionally. And if students are healed emotionally, then it transfers to the academics. Sometimes we focus too much on the academics and we wonder why they don't learn, why they're not focused. But it's because there's a lot of emotional things going on, you know, behind that student. What is the other one? Let's see. Those are the three main ones right now. We also have, there's also another one that's offered through Partners for Peace, but we haven't started that program. So it's a parent project. That's another one. And that's for more like fifth and sixth grade students that, you know, some of them are acting a little rebellious and, you know, how do we provide support for those parents?
Thank you. Wow, that was a great answer. You had a lot of them. Thank you so much. And then I just have two more questions. The second to the last one is, it also under foreign interventions, it talks about a monthly parent education letter. That's separate from the bulletin that the staff gets. This one that's specific for parents, is it online or how do they get it? Or how do you advertise it to them?
So the counselors send them out to their, at each school site. So on paper, it's on paper. I know that some administrators, some site principals have uploaded them on their website. I know that we are currently working on our website, so we are in the process of, you know, making sure that we have everything, all the resources there. So we're working on it. You still see the old stuff there. So they're gonna be made available for the community there as well.
Okay, thank you. And then, sorry, be patient with me. This is my last question. As far as, I know we have the district nurse, one district nurse, and then 4 LVNs, right? And so at the school sites, we used to have health techs, and I think now they're clerk/health techs or health aides, is that what they are? So they're doing so it's 50-50 in their job, is it? Or how does that work? And where does that fall into this, or does it at all? Is it totally separate? Because that just may be a student who needs a Band-Aid and not counseling. However, I think that the health techs, being that, you know, I was at a school, a lot of us work at schools, you know, that's the first place the student will go sometimes, you know, is to they call them the nurse at school, but we have the nurse / or health aide / clerk who's doing office work. I mean, so does that fit in here at all?
It fits in here where the LVN works closely with the clerk health tech and providing them with updates or supporting them when there is a student not needing a Band-Aid, but a student having seizures or having another medical issue. So, but they don't, our health techs are not to administer any medication. They're not to check their blood glucose, none of that. That's the LVN.
So then they will call, because there's only 4 and there's 12 schools. So
So-
do they have what, 3 each?
So they have
schools
3
each?
schools each and they have cases
So
assigned.
what happens, and I don't mean to go on too much with this, if a student is having a psychological problem at school, I mean, the student does not know that there's an LVN and the student does not know that there's a district nurse. So he's going to go or she to the office, right? And
Yes.
then So what does the clerk do? Leave what she's doing? And I mean, can't we get the health aides back? Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying all of that.
That
just
would
to
be a
say-
Mr. Koenig question.
I mean,
But,
yeah, 'cause that's where kids go, regardless of what it is. A little girl maybe that starts her menstrual period, it's a big thing. She might not know about it, but that's where she's gonna go. And it's my understanding that some of the schools don't even have a private, that the offices where the health aides should be are being used for something else. I don't know, but it's not my job to go check. But I mean, I'd hate to think that that is happening. Mr. Do you have a question, Mr.? Uh-huh. So, I just want to pose that question out there. I think that we do have to talk about that at some point, that, maybe we can bring that back. I mean, the clerks are so busy and the students just, sometimes they just seem so lost. I've seen it, and so that's what I was trying to say. Thank you for listening. We'll move on. We'll move on. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Garcia.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, under presentations, 2C, information, state budget, Mr. Abbasi.
All right. Good evening, Board President, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Koenig, Cabinet and colleagues. I'm also very happy to present my information. I have to smile more, I think. So we switch gear from educational delivery systems to budget presentation, financial stuff. We are in the month of February, but believe me, we also have to start planning for next year's budget. We are setting the stage. Governor presents his budget proposal in the month of January. In this presentation, we gauge the environment. We look at the national economy, state economy, and local factors that go in budget development. We take kind of cautious approach at this point if economy is not doing good, or we take a more positive look. In this case, we are going to take a cautious approach for 23-24 school year and the budget. The reason is we're not in recession, but economy is slowing down. We had many factors going up and down throughout this fiscal period. When we look at next year's budget, our lifeline is Prop 98 funding. Governor is proposing $108.8 billion. This is about 1.8 billion more than current budget year. That's a good thing. When we translate that information into COLA, we are going to stay in COLA only environment. COLA is cost of living adjustment. We are projecting, or the state is projecting 8.13% COLA for next year. That is the money, additional money that we are going to use for our operating needs. But something is going on with LSL. We have declining enrollment. On one hand, we are going to get more money, 8.13% COLA. On the other hand, we have declining enrollment. They offset each other. We may not see too much additional revenue coming to us next year. That gives us a cautious approach. Special education is one of the biggest programs that we have. So we pay special education, special focus to special education. Governor is proposing same COLA to special education as other programs, 8.13% COLA. But that is only on the state categorical programs, only a state portion of special education. Federal portion does not get COLA of 8.13%. That is going to be seen sometime in September or October, how much money we get for that. program. Other categorical programs are going to get the same COLA of 8.13%, but that is state programs, not federal categorical programs. Sometime in the past, it happened that the categorical programs did not get the same COLA as other programs, but this time, governor is proposing the same thing for categorical programs. One additional interesting thing happened this year. Governor is proposing a reduction to one money that was given to us in the current fiscal year in 22-23. There was a special program called Arts, Music, and Instructional Materials Discretionary Block Grant. Governor proposed 3.5 billion in 22-23 school year, but he is proposing a reduction. Now it's going to be $2.3 billion. For LSL, that is going to be roughly $2.4 million. It's a reduction of about $1.5 million. It's a multi-year grant, so we have to just plan accordingly. It's, I think, a 5-year grant, 3 to 5 year grant. What's not in the budget? I'm going to start with the second bullet. We do not see any one-time monies this time because the state does not have any additional revenues from the source of revenue that state has. So there are going to be no additional one-time monies or one-time grants. Governor did not add any money for CalSTRS or CalPERS programs. These are our retirement programs. Just to give you an idea, CalSTRS or the Teachers Retirement System Program is going to stay at 19.1% contribution from employer, that's us. PERS, on the other hand, keeps growing, 25.37% in 22-23% and fiscal year to 28.80% in 25-26 school year. Keeps increasing. That's a big cost. Any school district, including our school district. As I said before, this is just a beginning. At this point, in the month of January, we start the process. We start planning. From this point until May, and then June and July, many things are going to change. And we are going to revise our projections and our factors and our assumptions as time goes by. Governor is going to come back in the month of May and revise his projections and factors for COLA, as an example, and other categorical programs. As they change, we are going to reflect our own factors. We are going to refine our enrollments, our ADA, and our own enrollment and projections that go in the budget development. So this is a very brief picture of our budget development process. The stage is set, and we just have to build our budget based on that. With that, I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Start here on my right this time. Mr. Jimenez, do you have any questions? Ms. Garcia? Mr. Ocampo? Thank you.
Curious, on the retirement contribution rates, they're referring to us, to the state? I'm not clear on that.
Right. What they're referring to is for each dollar that we pay an employee in salary, the retirement contribution rate is 28 cents for a classified employee when you get to 2025-26, and it's 19 cents, 19.1 cents for a certificated employee.
We're paying that or the state is paying?
We are paying
We are-
that. That comes out of the overall budget that we receive. So the cost of an employee, cost of a classified employee right now is about 1.33 times whatever their salary is. So if they're paid $100 a month, the cost to the district from the revenue that Mr. Abbasi just spoke about is $133.
And just to add one more thing, it used to be 8.25% about 10 years ago. Then it began increasing dramatically from
Right.
8.25% to 28.80% in
Right,
25, 26.
one of Governor Brown's great initiatives was pension reform. And pension reform for schools took the form of the school districts will pay the difference between what's in the pension funds and what's needed in the pension funds. So that's by law. So just, we're used to it, and this is just what we have to live.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice. I was gonna ask this question in the following presentation, but I guess it's pertinent as in this one as well. We do have a declining enrollment challenge. So can we as a district report some of the upcoming positions with declining enrollment? And can we be able to sustain those positions in the long term?
So as enrollment goes down, many things happen. Our sections, the class sizes depend on how many children we have in those classrooms. As enrollment goes down, automatically we should translate that into staffing. Less sections, less classrooms means the number of teachers also goes down, and also the operating expenditures go down. But one thing that happens in any budget development is our revenue goes down dramatically, but the expenditures take time before we can cut on expenditures. They have a slower pace. But yes, expenditures are going to follow our reduced or declining enrollment, but at a slower pace.
Thank you, Mr. Abbasi. I don't have any questions. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You smiled, but there wasn't a lot to smile about because there's going to be less money, so I understand. Thank you. Okay, we'll go on to, we're still under item 2, presentations, D. Excuse me? Superintendent's update.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Board President Gilpus Pereira. We've got a short update to go through. These are the things I'm going to be covering. And big site events, we are planning to have our open houses during the last 2 weeks of May. The 6th grade promotions, last year, promotions took place over 2 days after Memorial Day, Tuesday and Wednesday. This year, the last day of school is on Thursday, 1st of June. So the 6th grade promotions may occur on May 30th, 31st, or June 1st. Now, normally the sites plan the 6th grade promotion on the last day of school, but sometimes they have it a day or two earlier. So we'll get the actual dates for the schools, 6th grade promotions to the board as soon as they're scheduled. Now, one thing that's going to come up is we've changed the trustee areas. So we were looking at which trustees were going to which promotions, and we realized that some of the trustees are going to schools that are no longer in their trustee area. So there's no formal allocation of trustees to schools, but this is a possible trustee focus. Trustee area 1 could be associated with Frank Paul. Trustee area 2 with Arden, Loya, and Montevideo. Trustee area 3 with Creekside and Steinbeck. Trustee area 4 currently has only one school in it, Fremont. Trustee area 5, Cesar Chavez and Alisal. And we've got 2 schools that are on the boundaries of their trustee areas. Sanchez and MLK are on the boundaries with trustee area 5 and trustee area 1 and trustee area 4. And the students that attend that school, the parents that voted for those for the trustees are from all 3 of those trustee areas. So we recommend that the trustees consider sharing those schools. The same thing applies to Virginia Roca Barton, although it's in trustee area 3, majority of the students and their parents who voted for the trustees are actually located in trustee area 1. So it's something to think about as we get ready to go to those 6th grade promotions. Upcoming events at the schools, as the principal of Jesse Sanchez said earlier, we have Jesse Sanchez's birthday observance. There's going to be a school assembly in the quad at Sanchez on February 3rd at 1:30 p.m. Mr. Sanchez's family, members of his family will be there, and this should be a nice event. The end of the 2nd trimester is on February 28th. So at the board meeting on the 15th of March, we'll be discussing the progress that the students have made at each of the school sites during the 2nd trimester. LPAC testing starts on Monday of next week, and it'll continue until the end of the year. The CASP, the state assessment of our students' performance in English language arts and math, and also science and a couple of other things, is going to begin on May 1st, and it will run through May 26th, the Friday before Memorial Day. And then the 5th grade physical fitness test, the only physical fitness test that we give to our students, will occur at the same time from May 1st through May 26th. And the only grade that comes from that is, did the district get 95% of its students to participate in the test? And we will get 95% so that everyone will be happy. These are the challenges we're dealing with. We already discussed declining enrollment. Our declining enrollment has been significant. We've lost 1,500 students over the past 7 years, about 200 students a year. And we've lost 17%. Looking at next year, it looks like the decline in enrollment will continue. We're working on improving transitional kindergarten enrollment, so maybe it won't be, we're hoping that it'll be about a wash next year, but we'll talk about transitional kindergarten in a minute. It has been much lower than we would have expected. We think there should be about 360, 370 students in our transitional kindergarten classes. And and it was much higher than it currently is before the pandemic. We are currently able to get about 50%, 170 students are enrolled in transitional kindergarten this year. So that's something we need to work on. We've got a problem with attendance this year, and we think this is due to the fact that everyone is encouraging people, if it looks like they've got a drip on their nose, go home. If it looks like, Miss Anzo should go home and recover from whatever it is she's got. But we are encouraging students not to come to school if they've got any symptoms, runny nose, sneeze, whatever. So whereas before the pandemic, our enrollment yield, 97% of the students who were enrolled came to school. Last year was not a typical year. 92% of the students came to school. This year for the P1, we had 94% of our students coming to school. It's moving up. It is not nearly where it was in normal times. So that is something. That is a problem. January attendance was down. And the big issue there was the first week of school after winter break, we had all these storms and attendance was 93, 94% on a couple of days, but on the Thursday and Friday of the first week of school, attendance went down to 82, 83%. So it was way off. And we're submitting a waiver. There's a waiver on of our attendance for those days on the board agenda tonight. But even without that waiver, attendance is something we need to work on. And maybe we could turn it around by saying, ignore those sneezes, ignore those coughs, but we're not going to do that. Finally, recruiting and retention is a real challenge. In particular, in special ed and paraeducators, we now have a paraeducator in each one of the kinder and transitional kindergarten classes. We're supposed to have 42 because we have 42 of those classes. Unfortunately, we've only been able to find 35, and this has been a requirement that we've been seeking to satisfy for about a year. So there are a lot of challenges. Next year, we are going to have a couple of program changes. We were planning on moving to full day kindergarten at all the sites effective the current year, but the state we're very optimistic in how much money we would get and when we would get it for the construction of the kinder classrooms. So we delayed the full implementation of full day kinder, but we don't know when we're going to get that money. So we're going to full day kinder in all of the classroom next year, including TK. And as far as the improving our attendance, improving our enrollment in transitional kindergarten, we don't have complete data, but anecdotal data tells us, that is what the parents tell us when we ask, why isn't your child in an LSL transitional kindergarten class? What they say is, we need a program that allows us to work. So we need a program that operates from 7:30 in the morning until 5:30 in the afternoon. And we've got just the solution for that. We've got all this extended learning opportunity grant money to pay for taking care of those TK students and kinder students from early in the morning. We think about 7:30 until 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So we think that with this program, expanding the number of hours that the TK students can be at the school sites, this will help us. This is a great service to the community, and we think it'll improve our transitional kinder enrollment. And that's it. Anybody have any questions?
Ms. Garcia.
Yeah, just going back to that last slide. So are you offering that extended day early drop off just to kinder and TK, or is that open? Is that going to be open for every student? And I'm saying that because I know, there's parents out there that have children. I think I talked
Right.
about
At this
that
point,
before.
we're offering it to, we haven't finalized the program, but it is something we could expand. Right now, the plan is to offer it to transitional kindergarten and kindergarten.
And do you see like them dropping off at the actual classroom or dropping them off in the cafeteria? How do you see that? Or you just haven't thought out that far away?
Yeah, I think we'll have to have a single point of entry for a half an hour or so. I think they would probably have to go through the cafeteria.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, discussion? Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent Koenig. We'll go on to item number 3, public comment concerning items on the open session agenda and or non-agenda items. A, guidelines, there will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There is no ceding of one's time to other individuals. Individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on open session agenda items and or other items may do so at this time, starting at 7:02 p.m. And we have a couple of green sheets here. Maria Carmen Parra, please.
Buenas tardes, mesa directiva de Distrito Alizal. Mi nombre es María Parra. Soy miembro de Concilio Escolar Oscar F. Loya, INDELAC. Mi comentario el día de hoy es para pedirles a nuestra mesa directiva y nuestro superintendente Connie que ya las escuelas de Alizal estén abiertas al 100% a todos los padres. El tener todas nuestras escuelas abiertas a la comunidad promueve el involucramiento de padres hacia los diferentes programas y servicios. Sabemos que el área de salud mental es crítico y en estos tiempos y el tener nuestros diferentes currículos y programas para nuestras familias puede ayudar a lidiar con esas emociones y también al involucramiento de padres. Sabemos que el involucramiento de padres es crítico para el alcance académico de los estudiantes. Actualmente sabemos que el liderazgo de la doctora Purneo resaltó al certificar a personal de Distrito Alizal con el currículo de Cara y Corazón y otros programas. Esto no se hubiera podido lograr si no demostramos cómo estos currículos fortalecen la relación entre padres e hijos de una manera culturalmente efectiva, dando así sanación emocional y por lo tanto fortaleciendo el apoyo, fortaleciendo lo académico en nuestros niños. Nuestro comité de padres bajo Building Healthy Communities del Condado de Monterrey han apoyado a traer todas esas áreas de abogacía y colaboración con nuestro distrito Alizal y otros distritos para estos currículos y programas para nuestros niños y familias. Actualmente 4 distritos de nuestro condado de Monterrey han invertido en este currículo de Cara y Corazón y Alizal es uno de ellos. Muchas gracias por eso. Abrimos también la oportunidad de colaborar juntos con este mismo currículo entre Distrito Alizal y Comité Padres Unidos. Varios miembros de nuestro comité estamos certificados para este currículo y el propósito es fortalecer los niños y familias de Alizal. Así que pedimos nuestro distrito principal y consejeros nos presenten las estrategias y planes de colaboración hacia el involucramiento de padres y servicios en nuestra próxima reunión de DILAC. Muchas gracias a todos por su atención y con respeto, María Parra.
Good afternoon, trustees of Alisal Union School District. My name is Maria Parra. I'm a member of the School Site Council of Oscar Loya and the DILAC. My comment today is to ask my board of trustees and our superintendent Koenig that our schools in the district be open 100% for all the parents. To have our schools open to the community promotes parental involvement towards different programs and services. We know that mental health area is critical in these times, and to have those different curriculums and programs for our families could help deal with the emotions and also increase parental involvement. We know that parental involvement is critical for academic achievement of the students. We also know that thanks to the leadership of Dr. Purnell, a focus on certifying Alisal USD personnel with the Cara y Corazón and other curriculums. That would not have been possible if we had not demonstrated how this curriculum strengthened the relationship between parents and children in a culturally effective way, which leads to emotional healing and also strengthens the academic aspect on children. Our Padres Unidos committee under Building Healthy Communities of Monterey County have supported to bring all those areas of advocacy and collaboration with our district and other districts. So these curriculums and programs are brought for our children and our families. Nowadays, 4 districts in our Monterey County have invested in the Cara y Corazón curriculum. Alisal is one of those. Many thanks for that. We also asked for the opportunity to collaborate together with the same curriculum between Alisal and the Padres Unidos committee. Several members of our committee are certified with this curriculum, where the vision is to strengthen the families and the children of Alisal. So we asked our district principals and counselors allow us to present the strategies, present to us the strategies and plans for collaboration towards the involvement of parents and our services at our next DLAC meeting. Thank you very much, and with respect, Maria.
Gracias. Thank you. Our next person is Alma Loredo, please.
Buenas tardes, miembros de la mesa directiva, presidente, superintendente. Mi nombre es Alma Loredo. Yo fui madre de este distrito y también soy organizadora de Padres Community House Communities, Padres Unidos. Hoy estoy aquí representando a la organización y a los padres de este distrito para pedirles que hagan un análisis de los centros de recursos de Alisal, ya que se impusieron costos para el uso de los centros de familia para organizaciones o grupos que deseen usarlos. Esto se comenzó a implementar este año y no podemos entender la decisión de cobrar por el uso del espacio, ya que grupos como el nuestro traen servicios y recursos a la comunidad. Además, que esta decisión impacta negativamente a las familias y se convierte en una barrera de involucramiento para nuestros padres. Ustedes resaltan por siempre poner la comunidad primero y cuando vemos estas acciones es cuestionable. Somos padres del distrito, nosotros somos la comunidad. Esta decisión manda el mensaje a las familias de que se han cerrado las puertas. Y es lamentable que se pierda esa confianza que con el liderazgo y esfuerzo de la doctora Prunell se había logrado. Esto nos sorprende mucho porque no se comunicó de la manera correcta y con el tiempo debido y además del respeto que la comunidad nos merecemos. Hay becas disponibles si lo que se necesita es la sostenibilidad. VHC Padres Unidos estamos actualizados en los fondos del distrito y sabemos que se puede hacer posible y no afectará a la comunidad. Y es lamentable ver ese daño colateral a las familias y organizaciones que usan los centros de recursos para traer sus servicios a la comunidad. Traemos esto a ustedes para el comienzo de una conversación, para buscar juntos soluciones. Y esto es parte del marco de escuelas comunitarias que nos va a dar la oportunidad de transformar nuestra comunidad juntos. Tomen ventaja de nuestro involucramiento. Estamos aquí como siempre disponibles para colaborar y apoyar en la mejor manera al Distrito Alisal. Esperamos la llamada para hacerlo. Con respeto, Alma Loredo, Padres Unidos.
Gracias.
Good afternoon, board members, board president, superintendent. My name is Alma Loredo. I was a mother in this district. I'm also an organizer with Padres Unidos of Building Healthy Communities. I am here today representing this organization and the parents of this district to ask that you do an analysis of the family resources centers because there were some costs that were imposed for the use of the centers, the family resources centers, for organizations or groups that are asked to use them. That started to take place in this year. We cannot understand that decision to charge for the use of this space, since these groups, like the one that we have, bring services and resources to the communities for free. Besides, in addition to this decision impacts negatively the families, and it becomes a barrier of involvement for our parents. You are always highlighting how you put the community first. And when we see these actions, it's questionable. We are parents of your district. We are your community. This decision sends the message to the families that the doors have closed. It is sad that we lose the trust that with the leadership and effort of Dr. Prunell, you had achieved. Yeah, this is very surprising to us because it was not communicated to us in the right way and with time. With the respect that the community deserves, there is scholarships available if that's what you need is sustainability. VHC Padres Unidos, we are We know what kind of funds the district has. We know that it can be possible and without affecting the community. It's sad to see the lateral damage to the families and organizations that use these centers, these family resource centers to bring the services to the community. We bring this to you to start a conversation so we can together seek solutions. This is uh, done in the community schools area, that this will bring us opportunity to transform our communities together. Please take advantage of our involvement. We're here as always, available to collaborate and support the best way possible the Alisal School District. We wait for your call to start doing it. With respect, Alma Roredo, Building Health Communities and Padres Communities.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to say it in Spanish, then in English. No podemos comentar acerca de eso, pero sí podemos garantizar que alguien se comunique con ustedes para hablar del tema. So we can't answer any of their concerns right now, but who would be the appropriate person that would get back to them on this issue, Mr. Koenig?
I'll get back to them
Miss-
or Mr. Abbas.
Mr. Bassi, by when can we tell them that?
We can tell them before the end of the week.
Antes de que termine la semana, el señor Koenig o el señor Abasi se comunica con ustedes para hablar sobre esto, ¿sí? Gracias. Ajá. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go into, there's no more comments. We're gonna end at 7:13 PM, and we're still under item 3, public comment. We're gonna go into association comments. Alisal Teachers Association, Mr. Pastoriza.
Evening, President Gilpin and everybody else. We have no comment for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. California School Employees Association.
Good evening, Ms. Gilbert, board members, superintendent, cabinet, and members, the community members. Solange K. Quinoe, Chapter 577 President. First of all, I would like to congratulate the 3 classified employee that was part of the recipient of the local solution grant. I think that is wonderful. And also, one thing I didn't talk to the district, but I want to make a comment about that. Is about the Family Resource Center. I would talk about a family that was able to get help from the center. The family was going through a difficult time with being homeless. And imagine on this weather, cold, and the mom was very desperate. When I tried to help, she got angry with me because she thought that I was going to report to her. And then she hung up the phone on me. But then I called back and said, no, my intention was try to connect her with the Family Resource Center, and maybe they will be able to help them. And fortunately, they got help, and the family, they're very happy now because they missed school for about 2 weeks. And now they have a place to live, and they are very grateful for the help from the Family Resource Center. So that is wonderful. And but one thing that I want to comment, because I think now that Dr. Cornell is not there, the form for the referral form needs to be changed, because I submit the referral and then but I called the center too, and then they say you need to do again, then print and then fax or email the form. So I think we need to review that so we can help more families. Thank you.
Thank you. Continuing on, is there anybody here for the United Substitute Teachers Union? No? Thank you. We'll go on to board member superintendent reports. Now I'll start on my left. Mr. Mercado? No? Mr. Ocampo? No? Mr. Ocampo? No. Okay. Mr. Jimenez? No? Okay. Ms. Garcia? Thank you.
Oh, it's okay. Thank you, Mrs. Gilpas Barrera. Yes, on the 20th of January, I was able to take part in the reclassification celebration in Martin Luther King Academy. Thank you to Mr. Orquizo and Mr. Rodriguez for the invite. It was such a wonderful event and we handed out 55 certificates. So congratulations to those students at MLK that were reclassified this year. They also got certificates, they got T-shirts and sweatshirts, and they ate pan dulce and hot chocolates. I think it was a wonderful event. Also on the 24th, I was fortunate enough to participate in the ILT, which is the Instructional Leadership Team, where we spent the day with academic coaches, with administration, and with teacher leaders. And it really was about to focus on the process and learning intentions of what grade level teams do, and the process of the what they're supposed to fill out on a daily basis when they meet. So I think it was a very productive training, and appreciate attending both events. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. I wanted to commend Ms. Claudia because she was, Melendez was able to give me some things to share with Spotlight, or just positive things. And actually the credit goes to her because I got them from the newsletter. But a couple of the things on here was the Classroom of the Week, and Ms. Brett Young, she's a second grade teacher at Steinbeck School, and she's a special educator with the energy for students and leadership roles. So she and her students had a blast when she read to them Stand Tall, Molly Lou Mellon. So I believe there's a picture of her in the newsletter. So that's exciting for her. And also I wanted to congratulate the 84 migrant students that are enrolled in the speech and debate competition, who I believe will be competing. Is that countywide? That I don't know. Is it county? Oh, and could be to the state level. So that's a great 84 of our migrant students. And then last but not least, also our paraeducator, Ashley Willis, I think, yeah, an epic salute for her for Dr. Loya School. And she's a paraeducator who's had started out as a campus supervisor, and she's doing awesome. So I think that's a new piece in the newsletter, is epic. Is it, or it's been there for a while? Okay, so I'm new to the newsletter then, the newsletter is not new. Okay, thank you. And so we're gonna continue on here. Anybody else? Mr. Jimenez?
And then we congratulate Mr. Maciel from BRB, right? He received a award and as a good teacher for his student, for his school classroom. And then he was in the TV. Good for
Awesome.
us, yeah.
Thank you. That's great. You make Alice all look good. Mr. Koenig, you already spoke? All right, thank you. So we'll go on to item number 5, consent agenda. This is an action item, so I would need a motion from one of you, please. Mr. Jimenez makes the motion.
Oh, second.
Mr. Ocampo seconds the motion. Are there any questions or discussion from the board members? No? Okay, we'll go ahead. Please say aye if you want to vote yes for accepting the agenda.
Aye.
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 Are there any opposed? No, motion carries 5-0. So we'll go on to item 6, human resources. A, this is an action item. Request for new position, Director of Expanded Learning Programs. We do need a motion. Mr. Jimenez? Mr.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Mercado. Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments? Ms. Garcia, please.
Just a quick question. I know I looked at, so it's, I think the base pay or the pay itself was 166,000. And I'm assuming that includes benefits and retirement benefits and any medical benefits.
Yes, that includes the retirement and the statutory benefits. So whatever your salary is, this will probably be a certificated employee. So whatever the salary is, we have to add a little over 20% to that, plus the cost of the benefit.
Okay, so they're not making
The-
166,000. They're just,
No,
it's the whole package.
right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll continue on then to the vote. I have a motion by Mr. Jimenez, a second by Mr. Mercado. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries on a vote from 5-0. So 7 is an information item. It's a first reading on new board policies, bullying, and mental health. And does anybody have any questions on this? It's just the first reading, so we're not going to vote on it. But I did want to ask, was there anything outstanding that changed? I know we changed our policies because CSBA kind of updates them for us. But was there anything outstanding? I didn't see anything on the updates on these policies.
These policies are new policies. The ones that were on the consent agenda were updates.
Oh, those were the updates. So these are
Right.
brand new ones.
These are brand new policies.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. What's it? It's a first reading, but would you want to say something? Sure.
Yeah, I did read them, and those are the ones that are online, right? And the only comment I have, and maybe this is far out fetched, but I think sometimes people need to be, the act of bullying needs to be defined. Do you know what I'm saying? What is bullying? So I read through the actual, what you have online there, but I wasn't sure if people understood what actual bullying is. So if there's like a way we could define it, and once again, this is the first read, but I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, because sometimes, bullying is something, in my definition, bullying is something that happens over and over again. But I'd like to know what I guess the state defines bullying as. Anyway, that's just a comment I had, because when I read it, I thought, okay. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go on to future agenda items. We have a couple listed here with the virtual LSL Academy, Mr. Ranzo with MOTS, Mr. Porras with Frank Paul, and also student assessments with Dr. Hernandez. Does any of the board members want to add any at this time? Okay, no? Okay, so we'll go ahead to item number 9. Public comments on closed agenda items. Guidelines, there will be a 2-minute limit for individuals on public comment and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There is no ceding of one's time to other individuals. Individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on closed session agenda items may do so at this time. Starting time is at 7:24. Do we have anybody wanting to comment? Okay, ending time 7:25. So we will adjourn at 7:25 and start closed session promptly at 7:35. So we have a 10-minute break so we can do what we have to do. So